Welcome to the Bettendorf Public Library's Take-Home Workshop. This month, we're doing embroidery on photographs. We're going to learn this stitch and talk a little bit about the process and how you can do your own photos and the secret trick to embroidering on photographs. So let's take a look at what's in the kit. The first thing you'll find in your kit is a copy of our photo. Now this is a photo that I have, using graphic software, taken some of the color out just to make our embroidery pop a little bit. You don't have to do that if you're working on your own photos, but it is an option for you. There's a lot of different variables that you can use to make your embroidered photograph really your own and really a work of art. Here's the secret to embroidering on photographs. There's masking tape on the back. Now yours is going to have one big piece of red masking tape. This is green, so you can use any kind of masking tape you want. You can get the really inexpensive stuff, it's fine. But what this does is it keeps it from tearing when you're pulling through. This is what gives your paper enough strength that the thread does not tear it. So that's our big secret. Also in your kit, you're going to have embroidery floss in red and green, and you're going to have a needle. Now your needle is encased in a little piece of straw. It's a fairly big needle. A little bit sharp, not like sewing sharp, but it does have a point, so you want to be careful. And then it has a very large eye, and we went with the large eye needles because when we're embroidering, we're using a full 6 strands, and it's just easier to thread. That's what's in your kit. What we're asking you to provide is a pair of scissors, and then optionally, if you'd like, you can provide additional tape, because if you want to, instead of knotting them at the ends of your thread on the back, you can tape them down. So that's what's in your kit. So let's go ahead and get started. So our first step is going to be to poke the holes that we're going to be embroidering through. It's easier if you poke the holes beforehand than poking them as you go. And so I'm just going to poke a series of holes around certain petals. And then I'm going to just do some little curly cues up in the background area. So when you're poking the holes, you can use your needle to do that. You could also use something else even sharper, like a thumbtack works really well. And you want it to be, you have a couple ways. You can put it on a surface like a piece of cork or a cork board and then just poke through. That makes it really easy. If you don't have that, if you just hold your paper up a little bit, you can just poke right through with your needle, just like that. And again, since we have the masking tape on the back, it's just going to leave a series of holes. It's not going to tear your paper. You want your holes to be evenly spaced, and you want them to follow the edge of your design. Or not. You know what? If you want to do anything else, you do something else. I'm going to follow the edge of my petals. The other thing is, especially when you get out here to do your curly cues, if you're going to have a sharp curve, you want your holes to be a little bit closer together. It just, with the stitch that we're using, it just makes for an easier, smoother curve. On those tight curves, keep your holes a little bit closer together. So consistent space, tighter together on tight curves, and then just put those holes wherever you want the line of your embroidery to go. I'm going to finish poking my holes through on this, and we'll be back in a second. I've gone through and I've poked all my holes. You can see them in this close-up in the pattern that I want. Now I'm going to start stitching. So I'm going to use the full 6 strands of thread, and I'm going to thread my needle and tie a knot. And this is why we have such large eye needles, because threading all 6 strands can be tricky. And then I'm tying a knot to hold my thread in place, but again, you don't have to. If you want the back of your photography to be very, very flat, when you're done stitching, then you can just tape these ends down. So the stitch that I'm using today, and let me go back to our original and show you. This is called a split stitch. I'm going to see if we can't get it up there so you can see it. So every time you bring your needle up, you're bringing it through the thread before. Kind of like a chain stitch, but a little bit different. Good for outlining, makes a nice thick line. I'm going to start on this petal here, and I'm actually going to start at the tip and work my way down and jump across and go up. And the reason I want to do that is because going around this corner does not look great with a split stitch. So we want to keep the lines kind of as fluid and smooth. We don't want sharp corners. We don't want in the middle of our line of stitches. Let's go ahead and start at that tip. I'm going to start by coming up from the back to the front at the tip there, at the hole at the very tip. Then I'm going to go down 2 holes away. So 1, 2. Pull that through. Then I'm going to go back up to the front on that second hole, the hole that's between the 2 that I've already gone through. So I'm backing up 1 hole and coming through to the front. And this is where it's going to get the name split stitch, because you actually want your needle to go through this thread that's on top. So when I came up, I did not, so I'm just going to work it through from here, coming under from the bottom, and split that thread. Then I'm going to go down, not the next hole, but again, I'm jumping ahead 2 holes, going down. And then going back 1 hole. And in doing so, trying to split that thread. It can get a little finicky. There we go. And I'm just going to keep on like that. Jumping ahead 2 holes, going back and coming up, splitting the thread, jumping ahead 2 holes, going back, coming up. As you're doing this, if you decide that the split stitch is not for you, or you want to see what other options are out there, I highly recommend the Royal School of Needlework's Stitch Bank. They have an online encyclopedia of embroidery and needlework stitches with photos, step-by-step instructions, both with photos and video. It's a wonderful resource, and if you decide to branch out from our project, then you have other options. So here's one that I did, my lovely parents and their wedding day, and these are just French knots. All I did was I French knotted my mom's bouquet. They've been married 65 years. They honestly don't remember what color the flowers were at their wedding, so I chose yellow. Here's another one that I did. Where I did manipulate this photo a little bit, in that through an online resource called Canva, I was able to make the background more blurry and desaturate just the background. And then these are just backstitch, and I just drew them in with a pencil, and then when I went over them with embroidery floss, these were done with not a full 6 strands of embroidery floss, I think 3. So we did the same thing. But the key, as always, is remembering masking tape on the back of your photo, because that is what's going to keep your photos from tearing. So there's no end of possibilities to what you could be doing once you master this skill. And that that stitch bank from the Royal School of Needlework has got every type of stitch that you would ever want to know. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to keep going with these petals. And then we'll do the same thing with the green on our squiggly lines and see how it goes. Once you've completed all your orange stitching, you're going to go do the same thing with the green stitching. Again, depending on how curvy your green is, you're going to want your holes to be a little bit closer together to make that nice smooth curve. Let's see what the back looks like. Not too bad. You can see where I wasn't very careful with my taping originally, so I put an extra little piece of masking tape on there so it wouldn't split the paper. So that masking tape, that is the key to your success with embroidering photographs. You can do any photographs that you might want. You can put them on, just this is a standard copy paper, you could do them on a photo paper, anything that works for you. You can make it a sepia one, you could do full color and just do white stitching. I don't know, whatever speaks to you. So I want to see what you do. So share your work with us on social media, please. And we want to thank the Bettendorf Public Library Foundation and Quad City Bank and Trust for sponsoring this take-home workshop.